Terrific war in Ukraine, it's almost becoming too hard to follow, not because of the complexity, because it's gone beyond heartbreaking. The US and its allies are facing pressure tonight to mount an airlift in Ukraine to save civilians still trapped in cities being bombed. If they refuse to send in fighter jets, if they refuse a no-fly zone, surely NATO can initiate negotiations with Moscow to secure air corridors for Ukrainian civilians, just to deliver food, water, and of course medicine. You've seen the pictures, you've heard the screening. It is relentless.
There are troops on the move on the outskirts of Kiev. There's no obvious military target here. This was a shoe factory. Now it's embers and ash. More than 2 million people have now fled Ukraine. Those still here in besieged cities like the northern Kharkiv find shelter wherever they can.
It's just indiscriminate bombing. That's what's going on. And this all comes as the Prime Ministers of the Czech Republic, Poland and Slovenia visited the battered capital overnight, which is pretty gutsy, to show their unequivocal support for the country. The Czech PM made it very clear that all of Europe was on Ukraine's side.
Probably the main goal of our visit, or main message of our mission, is to say you are not alone. Our countries stand with you. Europe stand with your country.
Meanwhile, in Kiev, Mayor Vitaly Klitschko is expecting a major assault on the city centre and has imposed a 35-hour curfew.
Everyone is angry. I talk to the people and everyone understands, don't want to leave, want to defend our city. It's international criminal case. What Russians do it with civilian people in our country.
There's another terrific Ukrainian leader. They've got plenty. But where's the president of the US in all this? Today, there was another $1.1 billion transferred to the Ukraine government to officially assist with the security of the nation. And the White House is saying Biden will travel to Europe early next week. But can the world have any faith in Biden making a difference, certainly in diplomatic terms? Putin views him as a joke, and European leaders seem intent on engaging in peace talks without the US involved. And who could blame them? Biden is clearly not up to the demands of such a crucial period in our history. Of late, he just seems to be slurring and speaking more slowly than ever before. And there he was overnight, you may have caught it, telling the world he had COVID when he didn't. Watch this, and watch the way he's now communicating.
There's been a little change in the arrangement of who's on the stage because of the First Lady's husband contracting COVID. But look at this room and what you see. Pardon?
What? What did I say? You just said you had COVID. He cannot last the term. But of course, the person destined to step in was in Poland last week, laughing when asked about taking more desperate refugees from Ukraine.
Is the United States willing to make a specific allocation for Ukrainian refugees?
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Okay, I can first.
So you'd put her in that role? What chance does the world have? What chance does Europe have in particular right now with inept and unaware leaders running the most powerful nation in the world? It's actually frightening. Back home, the Defence Minister Peter Dutton cranked up his criticism of the Russian president. He was speaking at a US Studies Centre conference in Canberra. He said, Ukraine does not belong to Putin's warped world, and the war will actually destroy him.
A successful democratic Europe-leaning Ukraine has no place in his utterly warped and cynical worldview. And so he has set out to destroy it. It's becoming clear that Putin's Ukrainian gamble has been a miscalculation that may very well destroy the man himself.
You can only hope so. And there are some former US military chiefs who are predicting exactly what Dutton said there, that unless Russia seizes Ukraine by the middle of next week, his window closes. And Ukraine forces will slowly be able to wind back Russia's territorial gains. Wouldn't that be one hell of a victory